Hey, Matt.
Hello there.
General Kenobi. That's a really, weird sounding Grievous.
We should we should dub over all the General Grievous parts with that voice.
Oh! I have been trained in your Jedi ways by Count Dooku. What do you do for the womp womp when he just starts spinning like a helicopter? Womp, 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 womp. Anyway. What are we up to? What are you up to? What are we doing?
Chilling like villains, podcasting, folks.
Every week, we're chilling like villains.
Yeah, in our lair of doom.
Doom!
Doom and destruction.
I would sing the Invader Zim Doom song. Doom, 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 doom. But I don't know how many people.
Get, copyright striked.
I kept it under 10 seconds. That's the song, by the way. It's just the word doom over and over again.
Doom, doom, doom.
Doom, 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 doom. Anyway, what are we doing?
Gamers 2 podcast.
That's right, we are.
Coming at you
live and in action. Except that it's probably not live if you're listening to this.
Yeah, we don't do it live. July 6th.
We're going to do it live.
Should probably start throwing the date in there.
July 6th, I guess so. It's in the subtitle.
Yeah.
That nobody ever sees. So, hey, it is the July 6th Gamers 2 podcast. What's the deal with... why am I Seinfeld?
Gross.
That really is gross. I feel disgusting, actually. So what have you been up to?
Chilling.
That's 2 impressions, by the way, so far. Grievous is an impression.
Do we have
no.
A quota? That
technically, 3, because I did Gurr from Invader Zim.
Let's see here. We're almost done with the Lego Harry Potter collection.
That's good. And I'm
gotta get it out of there.
gonna interrupt you again because we should have a quota. It should be like playing the Meow game and from Super Troopers.
Oh yeah, try to.
How many? Anyway, we'll come up with games every time. Who cares? We won't do that. So yeah, almost done with that Lego Harry Potter, huh?
Oh yeah.
What year are we in now?
We're done.
6? Oh, you're in 7.
You're done.
You're done.
We're
going
done
back
with the
through.
Story. Now we're going back through and doing the collectibles.
I see.
I mean, I haven't really been partaking too much until I hear complaining, that she can't do something or she needs help.
I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do here.
Played a little. Been playing, trying to get back into World of Warships. I've been messing with some different lines.
One of my buddies actually just booted up on Steam the other day. That was not you.
Yeah, it's a good game. Well, I don't show up on Steam when I log in because I don't.
Oh, because you don't have it through that. You have it. Yeah, that's right. The individual launcher. It's a fun game. Yeah, I just all of a sudden it popped up and said he was playing World of Warships. I was like, oh, interesting.
Anyone I know?
No.
Okay.
I've played with him for a few years, just random games.
It's good. I'm surprised but not surprised. I guess I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on it, but I kind of thought that someone else that I like in my group of people that plays games would catch on to it at some point.
Have you looked at World of Warplanes?
I have.
That game, whenever I see it played, specifically by the one and only Mr. Sark, looks really pretty.
The Flying Pancake.
Yeah, the Flying Pancake.
Yeah, he was the best Flying Pancake pilot I've ever seen.
Him and Commandant APL Fisher. I don't know if Commandant's the right rank. But yes, it was... It looks good. I mean, Warships looks good, too. Mm-hmm. The only thing I think with Warships versus, Warplanes is that Warships can get stale at some points. Because obviously you're just in an ocean flying, floating around.
It's kind of bizarre because the game, when you're playing it, because of the tiered nature of it,
right,
it changes like how it plays.
Meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the meta changes and the feel of the game changes and everything, and so the first couple tiers are there's no rhyme or reason to it. You just go in and
free for all.
Yeah, you free for all, and then as you get up to tier 5, it starts to become you have to know what
strategy.
Yeah, a strategy and what the different ships can do, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then tier 10 is just ridiculous. You might go the first 5-10 minutes of a game and not a single person has died yet.
Yeah, which is crazy because I show up on the field and I just die. So
yeah, well, when I get into a tier 10 game, I don't have a tier 10 ship because it actually takes a lot of time to get to one of those. But I get up tiered a lot in tier 8. And you get into a tier 10 game, and I'm this little... I also play The class I play, we'll call it a class, is essentially a DPS class with no armor. So like
anybody hit me.
I get into a tier 10 game and I'm just like looking around I seriously first shot I'm usually like just
it's
done.
the scared like kid shitting his pants like, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me.
Yeah.
You see the torpedo coming through the water, you're like, oh, I gotta move.
Like I got into a tier 10 game the other day. I'll keep this brief real quick. And I was like I was feeling good about it and I was positioning myself well, using islands, trying to do my job. And out of nowhere's a tier 10 German battleship from across the map, the Große Kurfürst, just rock hammer slammed me. And just like one salvo just obliterated me. And I was like, God damn. Like, it was frustrating. Anyway, so that's been kind of painful. And then I installed New Vegas.
Okay.
And I started trying to install mods. And I've been out of the mod game for a bit.
Were you using the workshop or were you using the portal?
Segue, because that was what I was getting to.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just go ahead and do what I always do and ruin everything.
No, like, if it was the Steam, I assume there would be a Steam workshop for it. There's not because it's an older game. Which kind of leads to the next part where trying to install mods just sucks because the Nexus mod manager has gone the way everything else has gone.
Garbage.
And it's turned into you have to pay to play. Like, if you try to download a mod, you get throttled.
Oh, God.
And it's just like, it's throttled 1.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bad. So
I've
kind of given up hope on that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to just try to like play it vanilla or what. I
wonder if you can just find somebody that's already got the mod and just like
torrent it,
drag it across. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to.
Or just somebody that's stupid enough to pay for it and then
because I'm not going to
use them.
Nexus mod manager, get out of here. Like, get out of here.
You're still watching Gundam 00 and PBS Vikings, or is that just old stale data?
That's old stuff. I finished the Vikings documentary, which was really interesting.
A lot of murder and rape and pillage?
No, not really. It was more focused on the exploratory side of Viking culture.
Oh, typical. You and your boats.
And like their ironworking and like there was some feeding into that. Actually, there was a historical find very recently in England. I think it was England. They found a battlefield, and they don't know exactly what it was. I think at the moment, I think the leading theory is that it was like Germanic tribes or something like that.
Okay, yep.
That were fighting each other. But they had what the interesting part about it, they found this is totally sidetracked, but they found
we don't do that
13-year-old boys that were fighting, like the preteens were fighting alongside full-grown men, that type of thing.
Oh yeah, well I mean we saw that in God of War.
And they had after the battle, the victors had cut off their pelvic regions and stacked them on pikes.
Oh, the victors cut off the losers' pelvic regions.
Yes.
Okay, I was saying if the victors cut off their own pelvic regions, I'm more impressed. We win so bad. Take this.
Yeah, so that's been interesting. What else? Oh, speaking of Gundam, they announced they're doing a live action movie.
What?
Gundam and Legendary. Is it Legendary?
Legendary is the guys that did Warcraft.
Yep. They did Pacific Rim too, right?
Yes.
They they announced a
interesting
live action Gundam movie. What have you been up to?
I've been up to a lot.
As per usual.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that free time like?
I say I've been up to a lot. It's mostly
like small snippets of a lot of
stuff.
It's
like Saturday, Sunday after we're done recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a little hit and miss the entire week. Like it's more WoW during the week and then more like binging on the weekend.
Yeah. See, I you seem to play like have it's from an outsider's perspective for someone who struggles to find time to play games. I feel like you just have more time, but that's not possible.
It is and it isn't because I'm on a set schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have, alternating hours. I don't work weekends.
True.
I didn't work July 4th.
True.
I only play volleyball 2 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a significant other. The only person I have to answer to is Max.
Who is a cat who rarely gives a shit about you.
Yeah, which is pretty much just like, feed me, bitch. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he gets food.
I don't know. I think one of my issues, though, is I watch too much random YouTube.
See, what I usually do, because I run dual monitors, is if there's... Sorry. People, I love them. I love them a lot, but this is what we just talked about not too long ago about me being distracted.
I have dual monitors as well, and I do the thing.
Right.
But I tend to get sucked into...
Well, I usually end up watching stuff that I don't need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Random gameplay videos, stuff like that, where it's like, unless I'm actually invested in the gameplay or I hear something, then I'll double it back. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm also playing stuff that might not necessarily require my full attention, so I can split my attention, but at the same time, and I've talked about this, actually, I think with my mother. Why not? We'll make it a family episode. Fuck it! Marked for explicit content. You also see I have 4 monitors in this room. And the joke of like me having mild cases of ADD or ADHD where I can't have one thing going.
Yeah.
Like if I'm downstairs playing MLB, my phone's playing something or I'm on my phone at the same time. If I'm playing WoW, Twitch, YouTube, Hulu, illegal sports games, like whatever I can have is going on the other screen.
Yeah.
If I'm playing FM, I might be playing WoW at the same time and just split the screens and play WoW on one screen and FM on the other.
I think my issue
and then I'll have a Yankee game on behind me or Food Network. Like,
I think my issue is that in that regard is like I like to do the same thing, but I can't be productive that way. Like I tend to end up splitting my attention to the point where I don't get anything done. I've actually been considering getting rid of my second monitor and having just my my single monitor, so that it forces me to like focus on one thing at a time, namely games.
Right.
But anyways, getting sidetracked. What else you been up to?
Sorry.
Distractions.
I gotta bring my stuff back
Speaking,
too.
yeah,
we can't do that.
I don't want to go too deep into that. I was gonna say like I might not be the only one with a significant other problem.
Yeah, don't. That's not good. Can't say that. MLB
the show.
Playing
18.
a lot of that. They've been adding programs to their online mode. A ton of stuff still busted if you ever look at the subreddit. Oh my god, this is bullshit. There's a couple things that are definitely bullshit. But I'm still having fun earning them and trying to get through some stuff. And WoW, obviously. We just mentioned that.
Still doing the WoW thing?
It's something I can get into like at small amounts. I don't need to... I'm at a point where I don't need to commit a lot of time. Yeah. That's going to be in August where I commit a lot of time.
You know the game like the back of your hand at this point.
Right. And
you finished the book, right? Did you do it this week?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. But no, I can skip to that because it's the only thing I'm reading. I'm a little over 3/4 of the way through, I think. So it'll probably be finished by the time we record next week.
I have a coworker who I believe is on a similar WoW level as you.
I doubt that.
I'm
not gonna have a WoW rival fight. But.
Yeah, I'm just saying like he's also read that book and he just finished it fairly recently. And I asked him like because I knew he was reading it and you're reading it. I was like yeah, blah blah blah, and he's like yeah, it was kind of cool. I finished the book and I decided I went back in the game and I ran around and just saw where all these people were in the book and like where they are in the game. Blah blah blah. Like,
did he not? Okay, interesting.
What?
I feel like you would do it in the reverse order. You would have played the game and then read the book and kind of, I don't know. Technically, the book will tell you about certain characters that you wouldn't necessarily like think anything of in the game.
Yeah, like it filled in the gaps. I'm assuming of some of what happened and what is going to happen.
Yeah, kind of what's going to happen and just it just sets up like where you're going to be picking off. Or like picking up from in the new expansion, like the setting up like the first quest and kind of like the stuff, the reasoning behind everything.
Yeah.
I said Mr. Shifty on there. I don't know that it's necessarily true. I can't remember where I left off last time we talked about it. I think I only have 4 levels left to go.
Okay.
So, not bad. I should have that finished also by next time we record. Mario Tennis Aces.
You don't like it. Don't lie.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think it.
I
Got,
don't
like,
dislike.
Super...
I don't like dislike it, but at the same time, I'm not. It's not what I wanted. It's disappointing.
I think other people felt that way as well from a few reviews that I saw, where it didn't necessarily live up to the Nintendo hype that they've. Well, not. I don't want to say the hype, but like they've been putting out solid. Nintendo's been putting out good games for Switch like consistently, and it just quite wasn't what everyone had anticipated.
Right. And it was just kind of like the campaign was like whatever. And I don't know if I'm having a problem with my Joy-Cons or if it's a problem with the controls, but like I'll slide to the left side of the court and I'll see my opponent's also on the left, so I'm trying to smash it to the far right side. So I'm holding right on my stick, and he just hits it right back up the middle or down like the left side, and I'm like, I'm holding right. Like this isn't even a question if it's holding right. So then the next one to come, same thing. I like try to preload hitting right, and still wouldn't happen. I'm like, I don't understand.
What do you want from me?
What does it mean? So that's annoying. The Wild Book, I'm like 3/4 of the way through. Moving right along in that. I've been watching baseball because we're reaching the All-Star break. By the time we record next week, we'll almost be to All-Star weekend. It's technically 2 weeks. And been watching the World Cup. We're in quarterfinals. Two games happen today.
What are your comments on that so far?
Holy shit.
I haven't been keeping up on it, but from the little tidbits I hear in passing, it seems like it's been a very dramatic and interesting World Cup. Like everyone's been knocked out. That all the favorites, I feel like, or I've heard, have been knocked out.
Yes, technically the what you would have considered favorites before the tournament have been knocked out. Like Germany's gone. As of recording, Brazil's out. Portugal's gone. Argentina's gone. Yeah.
So what are we in?
We're going into semis. We're in quarters.
Okay.
2 of the quarterfinal games are today. 2 are tomorrow.
There's an England game.
England's tomorrow.
That's the one
England technically has the easiest, pending they don't fuck it up, has the easiest way to the final. Because they play Sweden, I believe, and then the winner of that plays whoever comes out between like Croatia and Switzerland or Denmark or something like that. So they technically have the easier side out. On the other side, it was Uruguay, France, Belgium, and Brazil. France beat Uruguay, and Belgium managed to beat Brazil. So now it's France versus Belgium.
France is the favorite, I'm assuming.
Out of those two, I believe France technically is the favorite. They're ranked higher internationally, and their team is disgusting stat-wise. Belgium's been playing really well, though, so that's kind of a toss-up. England's going to be, like, they should be in the final. Like, pending they don't screw up, they should be there. But we'll see. But it's been interesting. Kenny called Germany being shitty.
Really?
So, props to him. He's like
football manager doing.
Well, we do a lot of football man. Oh shit! That's speaking of thing. We've been playing a lot of football manager.
I know. I've been seeing you hop on there.
I
checked your profile. You're at 221 hours. It might be 229. It's 220 something last time I looked. It's ridiculous. I mean, really, that's if you put that alongside like your WoW hours or like
Oh yeah, like alongside my WoW hours, it's nothing. But that is my most played game on Steam.
Yeah.
Second, I believe, is Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has 70 something hours in it.
Yeah.
We got through our first season. I don't know. Did I talk about how the first season ended?
I don't know. I don't think we talked too much. You're in and out of it so often now that we don't get regular updates.
Yeah. Well, now we seem to be back in pretty hard. So we finished the first season.
Got that World Cup fever.
Pretty much. Of the updated rosters from when January transfer window happened. And we had kind of been going through and like working our way through the season since January it happened. So starting, I guess, early February, when I probably last talked about this. And then we kind of took like a hiatus. He started working more, and we couldn't really line up each other's schedules. Now it's we've gotten through the first season. The first season finishes me in second, him in third, somebody else in fourth, and like not a person, like the AI in fourth and first. All of us 1 through 4 are separated by 1 point. Like 74, 73, 72, and 71. So anybody in that list gets a win, they slide up to first. Like it was so close finishing. We go into the off season. He makes some moves, I make some moves. I bought 3 senior team people. I think I bought a couple of youth. He bought 5 senior team people or whatever. But like it's the first time we've actually had money because we turned off money for the beginning of the season. So we had money technically a little bit in January, but we got boned for some reason. When we reached the January transfer window, we each only got like $1 million, which you can't spend on anything. Like I could buy a hamburger and that's about it in that game. So we hit the summer transfer window. I got 200 and some odd million to spend. He got like 180 or something like that, 170. I spent about 140 of mine. He spent, I think, roughly the same. And we started the next season. We finally get through the World Cup and that of just like watching it because neither of us coach international teams. We get through that. We get through spring training and we start back up in our season. I think we're in November now of season 2. I believe he's in second or third, and I might be in fourth. So we're kind of right there. But once again, like last year, we had Watford, who was a not top 4 team, finish I believe fourth or fifth. They might have fallen out, but they were right up there the entire time. We're like, I don't understand. Like, there's no like studs, but they were just winning.
Yeah.
Now it's Everton in season 2. Everton is number 1, and like teams like us and a couple others that are supposed to be like competing for that are somewhere between 2 to 8. So it's like it's just weird how the game's kind of going. I started out with I think 3 ties, and fell as low as 16th or something like that, and have managed my way back to 5th now with a couple wins. It's been a lot of fun.
That's good.
It's never not fun, but now he's kind of gotten the bug where he's back into it because now he's been able to spend money on players he likes and fix his team to play the way he wants them to play. And you know, you can go out and get the players you want for the roles you want, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot better. He upgraded his keeper. He upgraded his outside.
Yeah. Huh. Sounds like a good time. Speaking of sports, I got the chance last weekend to watch a full Formula One race for the first time in like 2 years, from start to finish. And it was one of the craziest fucking races that has been in Formula One probably in like, I don't know, a decade. And
in case anybody's curious, rednecks on 4-wheelers are stupid.
I'm going to try to do that more often, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know we were talking about that service that was supposed to be coming out. Did you get that, or did you look at it?
I haven't. It's rolled out. It's fair. It's priced fairly, and like the features and stuff you get are.
I don't know if it was coming out for like right now, or if it was we're coming out with this, and it was going to be a while.
They just kind of dropped it, and it's just out, and it works, and it's good and everything. It's just like it's kind of still expensive, so I just go.
Can you hit control on my thing, and I'll read just some stuff. I just want to make sure, like. Obviously, I know it's going to keep going because I have it set to not sleep, but I just want to make sure. So, all that fun stuff that we've been doing, and I don't know how long into this we are, but we're probably decently far in. 20 minutes?
Yep, past 20 minutes.
Perfect. So let's get to some new releases.
That's good, though, because it's not a strong week. Yeah,
it's not a busy week. But we can get to some new releases. New release time is week. Number 1. Red Faction Guerrilla Mars Turd.
Hey,
you see what they did there?
I see what they did there.
For PS4, Xbox, and PC. Waking Violet for PS4 and Vita. What the Box for Xbox. It's like a funny thing. Detached for PSVR. Johnny Turbo's Arcade 2 Crude Dudes for Switch.
That's a good name.
Mushroom Wars 2 for the Switch. There was a 1. Pocket Rumble for the Switch.
I hope there wasn't a 1, and they're just trolling.
Yeah. Mushroom Wars 4. Good luck finding the first 3. You were high. Samurai Showdown 5 for Xbox and Switch. Spelled
Like
SHODOWN. Because you see, this whole week is about puns.
Dude, I'm a fan of puns, all right? I was, all right? But
I say there's a level.
Society, culture, whatever, ruining the pun right now, all right? You pull the pun back.
Just bring
Pull the pun, chiz. Right?
Yeah, I hate him. I'm going to participate. Number 9, Wheel Spin Frenzy for the Xbox. Went out of order here for a reason. And number 10, Defiance 2050 Ultimate Founders Pack. I believe the rest of it's like the regular game is out next week for the Xbox. Now, you might ask me, Matt, Nate, what's Defiance 2050? And I would tell you, I don't know. But what I would tell you is that there was a Defiance game that came out years ago that went hand in hand with a TV show called Defiance on Sci-Fi. Mm-hmm. This is in that same universe.
Is it really?
And I don't know what the situation with 2050 is. I don't know if it's like a new show, what the deal is.
Cool. Good for them. They kind of had like a little bit of a cult following.
I saw this on the list and I was like, what? Because it was Defiance, the show was canceled.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to start this off. I don't know.
You want to start this off? You want to start off with
flashy news headlines. This is really enthusiastic this week.
I wish I could just do...
We should use that noise. It's a cool noise. A company called Gameway has opened 2 gaming lounges at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
I'm flying into there later this year, Matt.
You're going to check that shit out then.
When I fly out of there...
Their business model is similar to the South Korean game rooms.
Screw your wedding. I'm going to get lost at the game station.
Their business model is similar to the South Korean game rooms, but perhaps a bit more expensive. Travelers can pay 42 cents a minute or $20 for unlimited time at an Xbox preloaded with 19 games, including Fortnite and Rocket League. Who the hell's going to pay 42 cents a minute when you can pay $20 and have unlimited time?
Because maybe I only have 1 minute to play.
I don't know. It's stupid.
Which point, why am I going to play Fortnite for 1 minute?
According to Jordan Walbridge, president of Gameway, the demographics for flying and gaming perfectly align. So I guess this could become a common sight at airports, but it did take them 1.5 years to get it off the ground at Fort Worth.
Are there more puns in here? Am I going to have to hate you?
I don't know. I don't remember, all right?
You fucking writing airplane puns now? God damn.
No, it was interesting, though. Cool concept.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's the funny thing, too, is like, I get it. It's a great concept. Like, obviously, okay, way to kill time that isn't a $30 drink at a bar.
Yeah.
When I can spend $20 for unlimited time at gaming, hey, balances. But at the same time, like, I travel with my Switch.
Yeah. They actually mentioned that in a couple of the articles that, like, you know, it's most people are who travel a lot have a Switch. So, cool idea though. Like if you want to get in a game or two of Fortnite if you're not a Nintendo fan, aka me, or whatever, you can log into your own Xbox account too if you wanted to, or you can use theirs. So
Number 2. Ooh, it's my favorite one. Woo-wee!
Oh Jesus!
Oil tycoon Todd Howard shared a little info on the timing of Bethesda's upcoming game, Starfield. And Matt thinks it's what we expected. See how I did that? Switch the I with Matt? Because I don't know anything. He said, what systems we put it out on, what's the hardware requirements, is still to be determined. We're pushing it. We're thinking very, very far in the future. So we're building something that will handle next generation hardware. That's what we're building on right now. That's where our mind is. That doesn't mean it wouldn't exist on the current systems as well. End quote. So, considering players and developers alike haven't heard a peep about next-gen hardware, we're looking at years. Forever.
For shizzle. And Starfield is before Elder Scrolls 6. That has been... I don't know. Did I say that?
I thought that was clear in their press conference.
It was, but it wasn't. Like, obviously, Starfield, they showed Starfield first. And they showed
he
Elder
said
Scrolls.
something along the lines of like, but first we are doing this, and then after we will do this.
Yeah, but he specifically says, and I didn't want to quote everything he said because we'd be here for like 3 hours, but he said that Starfield is essentially in production and Elder Scrolls is in pre-production. So, there you go.
I'm going to continue.
Okay.
Because number 3 is more of my favorite oil tycoon, Todd Howard. Todd Howard, since he's blessing us with his wisdom, gets another story. At the same conference as the previous story, the Bethesda Golden Boa said, I got to change that. At the same press conference as the previous story, the Bethesda Oil Tycoon said this about service-based Fallout 76. It doesn't mark, quote, it doesn't mark the future. Corporately, we've done a mix people forget sometimes. Anyone who has ever said this is the future and this part of gaming is dead has been proven wrong every single time. We like to try it all. For a long time, we wanted to try a multiplayer game and we had this idea. We shouldn't be afraid. We should try it, end quote. It's reassuring to see Bethesda keeping their minds open to new things and not following industry, aka Battle Royale trends.
Yeah, it was nice to see that because normally you just see bad news all the time. But now you got Todd Howard bringing us those rays of light, saying, "Hey, we'll do it all for you."
And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh Jesus!
Dun dun. Meatloaf reference. Count it. We're gonna get even older in the references later. So.
Oh my God.
Meatloaf.
All right. Ubisoft laid out their future intentions for their games in a blog post the other day.
Paradise by the dashboard. Sorry.
Long story short, they plan on continuing to blur the line between sequels and post-launch support.
Which, that statement just sounds weird.
It does. It's. I didn't know how else to say it. But
No. But I mean, like, it's just like, we're not going to do a sequel. We're just going to make this game last forever. It's like,
yeah, that's essentially, that was almost what they said. Anyways, that means more games as a service and content updates. Executive Vice President of Creative for Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, however you'd like to say that. Where was I? Anyways, Executive Vice President of Creative for Ubisoft. Oh, he's more specific. I love this title.
I just say it real quick. Do you want to do it?
Well, you can go ahead and do it.
I'll give you the title. The title of this employee, specifically Lionel Renaud, is Executive Vice President of Creative for Ubisoft's Canadian Studios.
Yeah. How do you put that on a desk plate?
Yeah, also, you'd have to put a few lines to fit it on a door plaque. The best part is that they write Executive Vice President of Creative for.
I double checked that too.
Why is it not?
I was like, why is what do you mean?
Executive Vice President of Creativity.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
Lionel Renaud.
Renaud. It's almost like Renault, the car company. Another reference. Thank you. I'll be here all night. I sound like Trump.
You did, actually. Said something interesting that might hint at Ubisoft's future. Quote, "We will have technology that will break the limits of memory. For instance, because of new technologies that are arriving, we would be able to, in the same world, have several historic periods, for instance, in Assassin's Creed, and use the Animus to travel from one to the other."
Now, all right, real quick.
Yeah.
Don't we call this lazy in movies? When you start using time travel to fix all your problems?
Yeah,
Marvel.
Or,
they haven't done it yet, but I mean, come on now. Infinity Stones are here.
Or have different areas of the world linked by travel systems, so that a Far Cry game or a Watch Dogs game could happen in different countries in the same experience seamlessly.
Now, the funny thing there, so they speak about Far Cry. We'll talk about that one first, I guess. So the Far Cry game can exist in different things. We did the Vietnam one, specifically with the most recent Far Cry 5. Yeah. There's the Vietnam, there's space, and then whatever the other one was.
Vietnam, space. What the fuck was the other one? Zombies?
Yeah, it was zombies. And then they're like, or we can have Watch Dogs happen in different countries. Okay. Like, yeah, you want to really get bold with Watch Dogs? Put it in Tokyo. That's your boldest move, is to tell me that Tokyo has only one guy that's a watchdog in it.
It sounds to me like they want to... It sounds like they're just going to come up with an excuse to have, like... I don't want to say an excuse. But when he said this, all I was thinking was, okay, so you're going to have a service. You're going to have a Game Pass. And you're just going to make a flashy way to move from game to game. So...
Interesting.
Yep. And then I kind of thought, like, that I was thinking afterwards, I'm like, GTA 5 was kind of like a precursor to this whole thing with their
GTA 5 very much broke a mold and opened up possibilities that people thought untouchable before.
I kind of remember us talking about that when we first played the game and everything. We were like, oh shit, this is going to change a lot of stuff.
Well, because going in, we're like, the way they released the trailer, like, I mean, we can speak about GTA, I guess, for a bit. The way they announced the trailers, because I believe they did a character one for each character. It was only like a minute 30 or something. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, so do I choose who I play as? Like, how they don't like explain the story. They're like, no, you play as everybody, and that's all they said. They didn't explain like how that all intertwined. And then you do it, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is changing how we're doing story.
It still blows my mind that you could switch characters and so flawlessly and seamlessly on a goddamn Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, hot damn, that was impressive. All right, Humans Fall Flat. It's a great game.
Get out of here.
Oh, you want to talk more? What are we talking about?
What do you mean? I didn't. You did the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go back to alternating. It was all Todd Howard the first time. That's why.
Yeah.
I was just sticking with my oil tycoon. No, I'm fine. This is good. We're good. Because
trying to cover for Nate over here, and he's
I want to do this story the specific way.
Okay.
A Human Fall Flat is a great game. It's the best game, speaking to people I know, and it's getting even better on console with an update that will bring online multiplayer, according to sources I've heard, and everybody knows it.
You do a pretty good job.
August 28th, you'll be able to create private servers, because, that's what we keep our emails on. Haha, suck it, Hillary. I'm in the White House. And invite up to 7 other players, so you can try to solve puzzles. The best puzzles. My puzzles. Smart people have made these puzzles. They're really hard. While your friends throw you off the end of the world. And as we all know, friends are chumps. They all lie and cheat and get indicted. So yeah, there's a Human Fall Flat to get more updates.
Yeah.
Thanks, Donald Trump. That was less
host.
Guest host. That was almost like Surfer Trump, though. I gotta be real clear about that. I almost went Surfer Trump. I was like, whoa, bro. Like, surf's up. Can you believe it's the best thing you've ever heard? Hang time, brah.
Oh boy.
Am I at like 10 impressions now? I'm feeling good. Oh, I can do this one. You want me to do this one? This is gonna get real racist if I do this one.
I'll take this one.
Okay, good. So yeah, anyway, let's go back. Let's double back, and I feel like I'm not giving Human Fall Flat his credit here, because we love that game.
It was. I can't imagine. What's the how many people can you have in the PC
8
version? Is it 8?
Yeah, you just can't. You can only have, I think, 2 on the same PC, but you can connect 8. Like if you watch the Funhouse video, there's 6 of them playing. I think at least.
I can't imagine trying to play Human Fall Flat with 8 people. I feel like at that point, like, it's massive diminishing returns.
I feel like it's not even just like, it's got to be specifically, like it says, obviously, like it says at the end, well, your friends try to throw you off the edge of the world. Like, yeah, yes, that's exactly what half of our group would do.
Oh yeah, like, I'm
gonna grab you and drag you over here. Like, I'm trying to solve the puzzle.
The only thing I kind of wish there was more content in Human Fall Flat, like more puzzles,
right?
Because that last level, like, it's pretty linear.
We still haven't done it.
Yeah, and then you get to the last level, and the last level's like, there's puzzles all over the place. Like,
yeah,
you could split up into teams.
Oh, that's what the funny thing is too, though, is that there's so many different ways to solve the level, because you can beat the entire game solo.
Yeah,
but like, there's so many different ways to solve things that you can just. If you ever watch a video of a group of people playing Human Fall Flat, you will see a bunch of people like, oh, maybe I'm going over here. Maybe I'm going over here. And then there's just like the one guy that's actually just like trying to drag something into his way because he can't get there.
Which in itself is a fun thing to do, is to watch people play and fall flat.
Oh, yeah. And then you immediately go, like, even if you watch them and you know like what you need to do kind of to like where you need to get out and stuff, it's still fun to do it yourself because you still have to execute it. Like, it's complete. The motion stuff is like weird and you're just a giant blob walking around. Like, it's not one-to-one movement.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hit control again for me? Just so I can feel good about this.
Control.
And I won't be super racist for this next one, so go ahead.
All right, Shenmue 1 and 2 will be releasing on PC on August 21st with some interesting caveats. It's Shenmue, so of course there has to be some weirdness going on. Apparently, it's locked at 30 hertz. The Shenmue FAQ states, throughout the engine, game code, and scripts, there are hard-coded assumptions about a fixed 30 hertz frame update rate, so the game needs to run at 30 hertz. And
interesting.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's so funny because fucking Shenmue 1 and 2 coming in August. And by the way, Shenmue 3 is in development hell, probably.
It's just so funny to me because it's like further proof that the game probably wasn't made very well. And then the other part of it too was that they I mean, this isn't like unheard of or even uncommon, but they remade different versions of the game. So Shenmue 1's the Dreamcast version, and Shenmue 2's the Xbox version.
Weird.
Yeah, because the Xbox version had more features and was more up to date. Like it had graphical updates and that type of thing.
I see. Okay. It's just so funny. I wanted to Shenmue 1 and 2, and I was just like, I can't do that.
Brings great dishonor to my family.
Oh, you bring a great dishonor. I'm getting sued. Number 7. Oh, this is our leak segment? I like it. Yeah. This week's leaks come courtesy of Amazon Italy. Bloodborne 2, Sunset Overdrive 2, Splinter Cell, and Borderlands 3 were all listed, and we've seen mention of some of these titles before, so it's probably only a matter of time before we see official announcements.
There's been some, not controversy, there's been some, what's the word I want to use? Some people are disagreeing with the Bloodborne 2 leak, I guess you could say.
Huh.
Because From Software has so many games going on that they're like, there's no way they could be making another one. So
it's funny because, yes, there's no, in theory, way they could be doing it because they just also announced, I think, 3 games at E3.
Yeah.
But that's also, Bloodborne 2 is a very PSX announcement.
Yep.
So we could push it all the way to the hearing from it in December, which is also like a Game Awards time for Borderlands. Mm-hmm. I think Borderlands is a great Game Awards like trailer debut situation to come into next year.
Yeah.
The other ones like Splinter Cell could be Gamescom and Sunset Overdrive could be Gamescom because Xbox always shows up at Gamescom.
Yeah.
So
Borderlands 3 is the interesting one in the fact that like there's been a lot of rumors about that one. And
because we all know it's in development. They've talked about it for years.
Yeah, that's the thing is like all these like, higher ups, execs and stuff have like inadvertently made mention of it. So it's coming at some point. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
it. So, the next one I'm going to kick over to you anyway.
Yeah.
Because you probably know more about it than I do because I didn't look at it. But there has been 20 minutes of an Anthem playthrough.
Yeah, so the demo that we saw snippets of at E3 that was playable behind closed doors at E3, they released a full uncut version of that demo, essentially.
Oh, okay.
With some annotation from, I don't know, I'm assuming it was like a game director of some kind.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting.
Like a director's cut kind of, or commentary, I should
say. Yeah, director's commentary. It was interesting. It looked good. Gameplay looked good, and then it was pretty. I don't know like what It's hard to say anything about it. With just go watch
Did
it.
it just look more like what we saw?
Yeah,
There wasn't anything. There wasn't anything like
saw.
featured news or anything.
You just saw more of it. Like you saw like the Colossus's ulti or whatever the hell they fucking called it.
Was that rocket stuff. Mortar shot?
Yeah, it was like a grenade launcher almost,
okay.
But you could like kind of power it up a bit.
Okay.
They showed more of the boss fight. They actually showed the boss fight, I guess I should say.
Okay, yeah, because you get in the E3 one, you kind of get there and it stops.
Yeah.
They did say, I believe, though, that like you could play through that through closed doors or whatever. Or, like that it was available to play through, but they weren't going to show it on stage.
The interesting part, the thing about it that I'm enjoying is they seem to be doing a good job of, so far, of managing hype. And they're kind of doing this routine, this give and take, to where they're like showing something, letting people get hyped about it, and then talking very specifically about it and answering very specific questions to kind of keep the hype tempered.
Right.
And they answered, like, they said when they showed off the footage, they're like, these were developers who are very good at this game, who are very well geared up, and
so very much like understand we're showing you an end game situation.
Yeah, they're like, we're showing you like this is people who know what they're doing and have appropriate gear. Like, this is hard content, and like you're seeing people who are very good at this play hard content. Yeah, and they said at the end, because they show a segment of the boss, they don't show the boss getting beaten, but they're fighting the boss for a solid like 5-10 minutes, and it has a health bar that has like 10 bars on it. And they only knocked down like 2 bars.
Jesus.
And people were like, "Oh, fuck that!" And they're like, "No, we wanted to make it so they couldn't beat the boss, so we artificially inflated the health pool." So
okay.
Like,
so it's like, here's what we're going to show you, but like they can't beat it.
Yeah,
makes sense. I guess if we're speaking about EA titles and early gameplay, I believe there was a closed alpha maybe that had gone on now for Battlefield 5.
Yep, I watched some of that too.
There's some cool footage about that, discussing more about the revive system that we've heard changing and stuff like that. Yeah, and that was cool. There was a lot of cool stuff in it that I was pumped about, like spotting changes and stuff like that. So
I'm assuming you watched the thing I watched, which was
probably
House.
Yes,
and that's honestly, if you're interested, that's a great thing. Their podcast on it or whatever is great to watch, because they basically break it down to what the changes are and how they affect gameplay. The destructible buildings part that they talked about, and like how you could build barriers up in certain places, sounds fantastic. The spotting sounds great, and the fact that you can lose your spot now, so that you can effectively like hide. Also,
like when you lose, awesome. If you break, I believe it's if you like break line of sight, you can lose your spot and stuff like that. Which is all cool.
Sounds great. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, it sounds like they made like really good changes to that.
Once again, my doc did an update on my tablet, so I'm gonna have to rely on you here for.
Okay, what do you want to do first?
What we're gonna get into, we're gonna go to our deals.
Okay.
Same thing we always do. I just need to remember. I think I can remember off the top of my head. But Humble, now that we're in July, has its new monthly bundle. So the 3 guaranteed games right now that they have released are A Hat in Time, Conan Exiles, and The Escapist 2. I wanted to say Prison Architect. I knew I was wrong.
I have Prison Architect on my wish list.
I own it.
Is it worth it? I never...
Depends on what you're going to get it for, like price-wise, I think. So The Escapist 2, A Hat in Time, and Conan Exiles for $12 right now. I think that MSRP is at like $86 already. Yeah. Because I think Conan's a $30 game, same with A Hat in Time, and then Escapist I also believe is right around there. So, not a bad deal to start off. The 3 known games, there's more coming. They will release them when the deal ends. Like, you don't get to know before you buy it. So, cool thing there. Twitch Prime. I've normally mentioned when the monthly Twitch Prime games get announced. There's too many this month to talk about. Because Amazon does their Prime Day in July, which is essentially their second Black Friday. Or first, depending on how you look at the year. how you look at the year. No, literally, Nate, it's first, no matter what you do, unless you start your year in September. Where they run, I believe they were talking about it's going to be like over 1 million different sales now. All the crazy discounts on everything on the site for the most part. But because of that, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. They come together. Twitch Prime allows you this month, like every day, there's a new game going up for free, and all you do is you just go to Twitch. You're logged in the top right. You'll see your little crown. Click that. Click claim. Done. And there's just going to be a bunch of games going up there all the time. So always check in each day and just claim it. It's a free game. Like
I can't
beat it.
Understand how they can.
I mean, it's not. I don't think there's really that many AAA titles, but there's good titles in there.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously we just kind of talked about it too, but Prime Day. Prime Day is coming up. I believe it's the 14th. I don't want to be wrong. It might be the 14th of July, and it's everything I just said. Like it's just like stupid sale. Like it's Black Friday, but Amazon, and Amazon does Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Like so, can you complain?
Prime Day. eBay's been doing good coupons lately too. Just throwing that out there in case you need something outside of video games.
Yeah, eBay's been doing their like 15%. I think is the most recent one I've seen. I don't think they've gone back up to 20 yet. There was a select 20, yeah. I believe, but it wasn't the site wide, which is the killer. So yeah, that's that for deals. I mean, I guess kind of we can talk about it a little bit. The Steam sale is over now. It ended on Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. What did you? I know we talked about what you picked up. Did you pick anything else up?
I didn't. Honestly, I still have Shadow of the Colossus that I have to play, and I still have God of War I have to play. So
fair enough.
Once I get my PlayStation back, I think that's going to be.
Where is it?
Samantha.
Oh, that's
Lego.
right. Yeah, Lego.
Which is fine. It's cool. I kind of enjoy playing the Lego games, so I don't mind.
Yeah, they're just a fun kind of relaxing time.
Yeah,
you can do them without having to really like pay attention.
Yeah, what I kind of enjoy about it is, that aspect of it, and she's the big proponent for it. So like, I can sit on a couch and chill and just kind of thumb around on my cell phone and like read stuff, and then like hop in when I want to, and then like drop out when I want to do something else. Like,
unless this plays something on the PlayStation. Hey-o. And then I guess we can talk about our question for this week, which was technically last week, but we're going to call it this week and pretend like we didn't get it in time. From I believe his name was Ford Prefect.
Yeah, I wonder if he had a towel.
Really?
Yeah, I went there. I don't know.
All right. Ford Prefect has asked, What?
Yeah, that's why I handed it to you.
Because he didn't put like in there.
Yeah.
What? No, he didn't put think in there. What do you think of really old school games, specifically like retro games, and then referenced Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? So it explains why he is Ford Prefect.
Yep.
Good old character played, I believe, in the movie by Mos Def.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say that in a sentence.
It's such a good movie, though.
I never watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
It is really good.
Never watched it, never read the book, never listened to the radio show.
Yeah. So we were
added to my list of nerd things I haven't done, Firefly.
Oh my God. You can't drop that bomb.
I could drop that bomb because I know it tilts you, but that's not what we're talking about. It's not what we're talking about. We can discuss that on another time next week when we don't have a listener question.
I don't even want you to watch it because I was hyped up One Punch Man and you were like not thrilled about it.
One Punch Man was enjoyable.
It was better than enjoyable. It's good. All right, it's good. Anyways, continuing on. I've always had intentions of reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because the major science fiction, like the influence in my life that's always pushed me towards like technology and science fiction and stuff like that was my grandfather. He was the one that like got us like a metric dick ton of like Star Trek toys and stuff like that.
A metric dick ton?
Yeah, and like we'd go over to his house and we'd watch freaking Star Wars on Laserdisc, that type of crap. and play like the frickin' Klingon Academy game on his PC, and like he I remember when the Xbox came out, he bought an Xbox. He was like one of the first people I know that bought an Xbox, and he was always like passively trying to get me to read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and like he'd always bring it up and stuff like that, and I never got around to it. So I might have to do that because I hear it's fantastic. Fantastic.
It's an interesting thing. I think it's just one of those. It's cult. I mean, it's the same thing. Like that's why I mentioned stuff like Firefly or whatever. It's something that is probably quote unquote required by nerddom that I just haven't done. Which is, there's a lot of things on that list, which is why it's always funny when Matt and I can bring it up, because when we just run into, you don't know, you've never seen, you've never read, and it gets to a fun time. Specifically, though, I guess, is that a game?
What's that?
The Hitchhikers.
Know.
Is there a game? Because he references that, and I feel like there maybe is a game. But when he says retro games, I'm curious how far retro he wants to.
I'm assuming like NES.
Are we talking Asteroids? Are we talking Galaga? Are we talking like Time Crisis?
Atari Pong? Like, what
are we talking? God, there was a game that we could never get to run called ATF, Advanced Task Force. There was a picture of a B-2 bomber on it, and I always wanted to fly it in the game. Never get that game to work. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was one of the first games I played on PC.
There is a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game from 1984. That is certainly retro.
Is it a board game or is it not? Is it like text based?
No, it's
like Oregon Trail text based.
Apple II, Atari 8-bit. So yeah, I guess it's probably in a similar. It was designed by Douglas Adams and Steve Kurtzky. Infocom's 14th game. Apple II, Macintosh, Commodore 64, MS-DOS, Atari 8-bit, Atari ST. Gameplay. Text adventure game.
Okay, that makes sense then, yeah. I assume it's similar to like Oregon Trail, where that's very text based. They're cool. I think they have their place. I don't know. Like, it's hard to get one that works now, which is why when you do get one, it's considered like cultly done well.
I'm surprised they haven't found a resurgence, and maybe they haven't. I just don't know it on mobile devices, because it seems like that'd be something you could do, like when you got like a couple free minutes on a mobile device. I
think it's just changed.
Just
where
because that's not
stuff like Emily is Away or Emily is Away 2 or Lost Phone. Like those are text-based games.
Yeah,
but they're not like a DOS command prompt going through things.
Yeah,
they look prettier, but they're text-based games. It's just what they are. They're just narratives. They're telling stories. Florence, I believe, is the same way. I mean, technically, Telltale games are narrative. Yeah. Text-based games. There's art to them, but
like the Telltale games and like the walking, quote unquote, walking simulators are kind of like the current iteration of that type of gameplay, like Firewatch and
walking simulators that aren't something like Journey.
Yeah,
where Journey it's not. There's not text. It's you and your experience with the game, not being given a story, but creating your own.
Yeah,
interesting stuff like that. I say because I don't really have much experience with like those classic games, like true text-based classic.
Yeah,
I've programmed a couple, but I mean I literally programmed just the Call of Duty 4 campaign just in text. So I don't know, that doesn't really count. I ripped the complete story and just made it in text. I think they had their place. I think it's just kind of changed, like the way text-based games are delivered now.
Mm-hmm. I think they could
other classic games
resurgence if people presented them the correct way, like just like a remaster of some kind in some fashion. Because we live in an age where you can have anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like someone's gonna want to do that at some point.
If we talk about slightly more modern, I mean, slightly. Like I just want to step forward.
Slightly
like,
more contemporary.
I'd like to step forward maybe like 10, 15 years. And you reach things like Tetris and Galaga and going more into the arcades of Time Force. Time Splitters, House of the Dead. Like shooters like that. Those ones I want to be remade in VR.
Dude, why don't we... Who owns House of the Dead?
I don't know.
Why don't we have a House of the Dead reboot?
I just want it in VR because those shooter games like that are meant to, like, you show up at the arcade and each of you grabs a gun.
Yeah.
Like, those specifically, to me, it's just like, yes, that in VR, easy, done. Like, I don't know why that's not a question.
Speaking of a little tangent here, you know who mentioned...
Not a question, it's not a sentence, but I mean, yes.
You know who mentioned VR in the same conference as all the other news articles we talked about? The oil tycoon himself.
Todd Howard.
He said that traditionally, the third generation is when that technology becomes popular, and that's what he had to say about VR. Basically,
he's not wrong. The problem is that we just reached Gen 2.
Yeah.
So
which I think was him saying like,
we're getting there.
Yeah,
but like we're not there yet. So when you play Starfield in VR, be ready. Because you think Star Trek Bridge Crew is so cool.
Actually, I didn't connect those two statements, but if you think about it, like his VR comment, and then we're looking very far out in the future,
timing-wise,
and hardware and whatnot. So
Starfield VR game confirmed. The oil tycoon himself.
You making that a prediction?
Are you going to hold me to that in 4 years?
I don't know.
At least.
I'm just saying. I'll remember.
Sure.
See, that's the other
I'll
thing.
call it.
You say 4 years. I'm saying 3 years.
21.
Yeah. 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 21.
I'm not going to give you a year, but I say VR. I don't think it's an exclusively VR title, but I definitely think it has a VR at launch thing, not like a Fallout VR where it comes later. But I definitely think it is VR compatible at launch.
Interesting. I mean, yeah. I mean, they did Fallout 4. They did.
We have abandoned this question, but I mean,
we're gonna get back to it in a second. They did Fallout 4. They did Skyrim.
They did Doom.
Did Doom.
They did Prey.
They did Prey. It does seem like they're trying to train themselves to make a world that can be both VR and traditional gameplay. So if they could come up with a tool set and a technique and stuff like that to do it at once, develop one game and have it work in both realms. I mean, I could see them doing that. Anyways, back to retro games. Obviously, they're hot right now. You got the NES Classic, got the SNES, you got all your little Atari,
Segas.
Atari's working. Fucking Atari hired an Xbox executive. Because they're trying to do some new console. Atari is. You got your Raspberry Pi retro boxes that are
Retro Pi.
Retro Pi. Yeah. Oh, we gotta make it out to that frickin' Dave and Buster's. Try out that Halo thing.
Do we know that it went in?
I don't know. They said this summer though.
I think we should look before we just try it out.
I forgot about it though.
We'll take a look after this. There's the retro games are definitely making a resurgence, but it's not new retro games. Like that's a weird thing. It's a weird statement to say as it is. It's not like there's a couple games like Stardew Valley is a good example where it's like it's a retro game because it's an isometric 2D like Harvest Moon equivalent. There's a lot of games that do like or just platformers like Super Meat Boy. It's not a retro game, but it is because it moves much more fluidly than Mario does. But it's
shots fired.
It's just a firing shots at Nintendo. It's a 2D platformer, which is a retro style game. But there's ways to do it retro. It's
fucking Cuphead.
Yeah, Cuphead is of 1940s aesthetic.
Yeah, like 20s, maybe.
Whatever. It's old.
It's old. Yeah, retro. Yeah. I think to a certain extent they're a different type of tough too that like gamers nowadays aren't used to.
Well, that's the problem too. Like, you don't realize it getting older until it kind of becomes a thing. you as a child put up with way harder shit than you do as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'll reach it as an adult and go like, all right, this is about my 6th attempt and I'm done. I don't care anymore.
Yep, that's why I can't play like Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't do this to myself. Like, I ain't got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for this. Whereas Mario, you fucking die the same hole 18 times. And you're just like, I'll try again.
Yeah. It's like, Mario was hard, but there was another one. I can't remember what it was. There was one on the 3DS that was called Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
One of the hardest 3DS games. And there are adults that are like, I just can't. I'm done. Like, this thing is hard. And it was one of the first things I remember Adam Sessler was talking about on some podcast. He's like, you don't realize how hard games were as a kid, how much you were willing to put up with until you get to an adult and you're like, I don't have time.
Yeah. 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 You got to come to terms with that. Time management nonsense. Can't play everything in the world anymore. Sad story.
It is. It is a sigh. Sigh. It is a sigh story indeed. It is. It's a good time. It was. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I'm just gonna ramble on about nothing. Yeah, that's the podcast. It's been a good time. It's been a great time. It has been the best of times.
The worst of times. Tale of Two Cities.
Or another reference.
An even older reference.
Yeah. 4 score. All right. We
All right.
stop before we just see how many references we can make to things. Gamers2.com. Submit questions there at the link at the top of the screen. Listen to the podcast on all the services, including Spotify and everything else. And then find us wherever you need to, because we are around Twitter. You can find both of us, Matt Surway, Nate Killian. And you can find Gamers2 for whenever the show goes live. Later. Bye-bye.